Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Luciano. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. The purpose of this channel is to primarily teach you Haitian Creole, but we also talk about language learning in general, just in case you're interested in learning other languages. So today we're going to talk about 5 attitudes you should have when learning languages coming up. So the reason attitude is important is because primarily language is not an isolated thing. It is embedded in a culture. And when you learn a foreign language, it affects your personality, your emotions, your perspective of the world. It's not just about memorizing a bunch of words. So the way you approach your language learning is key to what you're gonna learn or what you're not gonna learn in that journey. The first attitude that I wanna talk about is a posture of learning. Language learning isn't a sprint, it's a marathon, which means that you don't have to be able to speak the language in 6 months or a year or even 2 years. It's a foreign language, which means that it's not part of your world. This is something that you're trying to acquire. So don't beat yourself up and take your time, please. I remember on my 3rd year of university, this was after like 5 years of learning English. I was talking to someone and at one point I couldn't find the words to say. And I was so embarrassed. And after a while, I was like, it's gonna be okay. They aren't even going to remember that moment. And I was right. So be gracious with yourself. The second attitude that I want to talk about, and that's closely related to my first point, is humility. Humility is very important. Again, it's not your language. You should always be okay with people teaching you, correcting you, and laughing at you even. People shouldn't laugh at you, but sometimes they do. And there's not much you can do about it except for getting better. But your willingness and your inner drive to learn the language should always get the priority over your ego. The third attitude that I want to talk about is curiosity. I know of a couple of missionaries in Haiti that walk around with journals, language journals, and whenever they come across a word that they hear for the first time, they immediately write it down. So when you're learning a language, you should turn everything that you encounter into a learning opportunity. The way the native speakers interact with each other, their jokes, their hobbies, everything in that particular culture should catch your attention. The fourth attitude that I want to talk about is enjoyment. You should fall in love with the language that you're trying to learn. So I've seen people that are learning foreign languages because it's a job requirement, but they don't love the language. They treat it as a duty or as a chore, and they are miserable. Language learning can't be boring. It just can't. It is probably one of the richest human enterprises that I've seen. And one of the ways to enjoy the language is to learn about your passion in that language. So once you're able to read in the language, just pick up books of either things you already know or other things that you're trying to learn. This will give you an extra motivation to keep learning the language and at the same time learning more about your interests. The last attitude that I want to talk about is an excellence mindset. If something needs to be done, it needs to be done well. And here I'm not talking about being a perfectionist, but don't aim at being mediocre in anything that you do. It's just a waste of time and I feel like it's a lack of respect for the language of learning as well. It's like saying, "Oh, it's worth looking into," but it's not worth knowing or spoken well. And trust me, there are places that you can pull that off. For instance, if you're learning French and you go to Quebec or Montreal, and they're not gonna let you just do whatever pleases you with their language. Although they can be a little bit too proud up there with French, but that's the way it is. So to recap, have a posture of learning, be humble, be curious, enjoy the language, and aim for excellence. This is all I got for you today. I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comment section what languages you're learning, why do you like Haitian Creole, or make a request for a video. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel. My name is Luciano. Peace, guys.